Hello everybody, it is Monday the 25th of September. I went and watched two videos again this morning, two different channels, and I've been triggered into giving my own penny's worth to the conversation. I really must stop watching stuff. Anyway, it was an conversation, the first one, or a discourse on darkness and light. Yeah, and we're being given these words and we're being given a meaning to what it is, darkness and light. And the other one was that was actually Johns and Julianne again talking about Russell Brand. So, everybody's talking about him, I might as well. Why not? Right, let's start with darkness and light. And the meaning that we are being given for those words. What constitutes dark? Dark is evil. Light is goodness, and goodness and light. Within ourselves, our lower nature is darkness, is evil, is to be suppressed or preferably done away with altogether. And your higher vibrations, your higher emotions, love and compassion, and that's all good. So again, you have the duality of good and bad, of light and dark. Now those words, and when they were first coined, in whatever teaching, I don't actually know who came up with that first, somebody likened something that exists onto darkness and light, and they had a meaning. Yeah, it is really like deciphering code. You have to find the meaning, the true meaning of the word. And I can see a different meaning. Again, I can see a different meaning, what constitutes light and darkness. And out of a different, if you give it a different meaning, it changes the entire story. Yeah? So let's try and change the story and give this darkness and light thing a different meaning. Just test driving this one. You don't have to run with it. Just see if you give it this meaning, then how would your view of the world and what is happening actually change? How would it give you a different perspective? Now, first thing about our lower, higher nature, whatever you want to call that. To say that is darkness and light, no, it's not. To me, I'm totally certain that is not the meaning. Yeah, because a light, if you have a bright light, that is made out of, in reality, if you put it through a prism, it's made out of all the colors of the rainbow. They're all contained within that white light. So if you say love contains every other feeling. It's just, you see it all at once. You feel it, all at once. The light would be you see it all at once. Feeling love as you feel it all at once. But again, you put love through a prism, you will say that it's made out of many parts. And any part of what is contained in it can serve as an expression of love. Fear can serve as an expression of love if it truly, in truth, alerts you of danger or tries to keep you away, slows you down, restricts you, tries to keep you away from danger, and that danger is real. Then fear serves as an expression of love. It is really, it's not what they are, it's the way you use them that is wrong or right. But you can use any one of those feelings as an that it propels you forward, it makes you do something, and if the intention is to save, to give, even if you restrict somebody from doing something wrong, you're giving to them, you're saving them. So yeah, the restrictive force can be an expression of love. So no, darkness and light is not there. or only in the way that you use it, but not in the thing itself. So if we try to put a different meaning to those words, darkness, if we are in darkness in this world, say in the middle of the night and it's pitch black dark, we do not know what is around us. We cannot see. Our eyes cannot see. And it does create fear. Not knowing creates fear, with good reason, because there could be danger in that darkness. I mean, it's not all danger, that would be false, but there could be danger in that darkness, so it's not wrong to feel fear. But really, darkness, I would say, as an expression of you are in that situation and you know you do not know. You are fully aware of the fact that you do not know what is around you. So darkness as ignorance and the knowledge of that you do not know. You are in ignorance of what is around you because you cannot see. So darkness as ignorance, as not knowing, and if you're aware of the darkness, you are aware that you do not know. Now, light. As I said, there is something you can see, or if you feel love, there is something you can feel. But you cannot see or feel the separate parts that are contained in the light or in the feeling. Yeah? So, and I said in my video before, it is like getting out of Plato's cave into the light, and then you need a while to adjust, to see where the separate forms take, form again, and you can clearly see what is actually around you. So, full on light, full on love, you're seeing something. But everything is made out of those separate parts, out of the color of the rainbow, out of different feelings, and most of all an intention that is ruling over the whole thing. That all these parts serve. And you cannot see that. Then the light that you're looking at is again ignorance. Only at that moment we are not aware. I would say that we are in ignorance, especially not at the moment, because everything that is light beings, light out there, it's all good. It's all good. Trust it, follow it. Don't go by your own knowing. But it is a state of ignorance. Now, what is maybe contained in that light and why we see it as a light? I mean, we're seeing something. It's not like we're seeing nothing. We're seeing something. There is a knowledge there, something we know. We just don't see the details. So what we perceive as light is something that is given to us. Something that we know as good when it's given to us. And it is, I said before, the blinding light of a promise. Of a future. Yeah, I give to you. And you will have that in the future. So that is, I think, what is blinding most people in the first instant, that promise. And they know it's good. And they know it's something they desire. They might even know it's something they actually need. Yeah? So they follow that light. But the more you go into it, you see that there is darkness in that light as well. Everything is made up of all parts. Nothing is pure light. There's parts of darkness in it as well. And you don't see that in the first instant. You're just following the light, the promise. So, coming to Russell Brand. it's the other thing I wanted to talk about, and that was John's and Julian talking about Russell Brand and what is actually happening there. You know, he seems to be under pressure at the moment. The beast seems to have turned against him, seemingly attacking him. And we're saying, well, that is because he has been telling the truth, and they've now turned against him. Now, to me, there are several possibilities. It could be a deception. It could be diverting our attention, onto the spectacle that is going on there at the moment, which might not be real. So that is one possibility. And then I was thinking about, even if he was cancelled, or even if something should, God forbid, happen to him, we already think that some people that were cancelled, weren't really cancelled. They just went somewhere else. Even some people always think they were terminantly cancelled, killed, that maybe they were not. Like Jeffrey Epstein, like stories going around about Hitler. Maybe they didn't die at that moment. They just went somewhere else. And they got, their pay for their services. Just they're no longer in the limelight. So that, so there is that possibility that the whole thing is just theatre, and even if something should happen, he's just going to go somewhere else. There is another possibility, and that is that he was drawn like a child to the light. Now, there's something I want to say about children. You should be as a child. Children have no knowledge. They have lack of experience. So they don't know for themselves. So lack of knowledge makes you a child. Children are inherently selfish. And they do not learn until a later stage to see others and the needs of others and the rights of others. They don't learn that until, primary school. That's where it starts, where they start what we call socializing. Before that, they are inherently selfish, especially in the terrible twos. Selfishness kind of reaches its peak there. Again, for a good reason, because they are dependent on others. They don't have the knowledge, they don't have the means. They are dependent on others to give to them. And it aids their survival to be selfish. So you're in ignorance, you are completely selfish. You know good as that which you want. Here's another thing in a child. They know as good that which they want. Sweeties, toys, anything, everything. I want. Which again, as a grown-up, you know that a certain overdosing on sweeties is actually not good for you. Again, a child wouldn't know that. So there we go, the perception of good and bad, the inherent selfishness, and an absolute lack of knowledge and of experience, knowledge grown out of experience. So there is a child, and Jesus said, be as a child, be like that, and then trust that which comes with a promise to give to you. As a child would trust something. Well, he's given me something I want, he must be good. We know what can happen to children that go that way and that do not see the true intention. So the possibility is that Russell Brand went in there as a child with a promise, the light of a promise. And that right now, and that again, he may have changed. Yeah? He may be growing up. And again, if a person cannot change, there's absolutely no point in repentance or trying to change yourself if you can't. So he may have done that. He may have gone through a period of repentance and he may have changed himself. But now he may be experiencing the full face of what he had bought into in the first place when he was following the light of the promise. Yeah, of being elevated, of being part of the elevated few, to partake of the riches and the, yeah, actually full on debauchery probably, which to him at the time was probably, that's what I want as a child. But now the full face of God, so to speak, might become clear to him, and that is the dark side of all of that. Yeah? And that is that you have to serve. You have to do according to them. Yeah? And the realization that they're not all your friends. Oh, we're all your friends, we're all one. Come in, we are one great big family in the light. But the full face of the truth is that if something does not serve them, they will cancel it. Or they will sacrifice parts of their own body, so to speak, if it aids their cause. They will do that. Yeah? And there you see then the full face, the full reality of what that system does. Yeah? And it's not all give, give, give. If it serves it, it will sacrifice you. And that is the dark side of that. That you, in the first instance, when you were blinded by the light of the promise, you did not see the fullness of all the working parts inside of that system. And it may well be that Russell Brand is awakening to the fullness of the truth. And actually having a living experience, so then it will become really truth, a real knowing when it happens to you. He may be going through that. Which of the two is true? Is it a deception, or has he changed and he's now going through the fullness of the realization of what he had bought into? I don't know which one it is. I'm just saying they're both possibilities. But there again, I think, just to recapture, going back to the start of giving meaning to the words in darkness and light, they are both not knowing. Both states, dark and light, full on light, blinding light, both of those are a state of not knowing. Yeah? In the light, there is a promise of something good. That is why you perceive it. But whether that actually turns out to be that. And we've done it so many times. We were promised. Every election we're being promised. We're given our agreement. We're coming into agreement with a party and we're giving our vote to them. And then the light of the promise fades, and then the reality kicks in, which is nothing like the promise. So we were in ignorance to start with. And I really think what humanity is growing up to, a knowledge that we are growing to, that we should become aware of, is the knowledge of God himself, and that is the knowledge of the intention. The intention with which promises were made, Was it to serve you? Because that was the promise. Or when you see the fullness of the picture, was the intention actually to rule over you? Which the God of the Bible, that is his intention. So then when you went into that light of that promise, you actually were in ignorance of the highest point, which was the intention, the one that rules over everything else. You did not see the face of God. And I tell you something, you can. You absolutely can see it. And you must see it. Because otherwise you follow a light in ignorance. Anyway, I leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.